Melissa, how would you describe the state of negotiations right now?
Yes, I mean, it has been quite the past couple of days. Last Wednesday, it seemed that we would have a deal between Canada and the U.S. And then as of Friday, those talks fell apart seemingly at the 11th hour. And so now the feeling here in Canada is very much of defiance, ready to, hit back against the U.S. and kind of digging in for a fight.
How long could this fight go on?
So according to reporting from our colleague Josh Wingrove, there is openness to resuming the discussions, but Canadian officials are also getting ready for something that talks not resuming until after the midterms, or even until President Trump leaves office. So earlier today, you played that clip of Prime Minister Carney. He did say that Canada is open to returning to the negotiating table if Canada is treated with respect. And we did also hear from Vice President J.D. Vance and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, both of whom sort of hinted that under the right conditions, talks could resume. So, hope is not lost, but certainly there are. It's not anything scheduled or immediate at the moment.
And does the threat of 50% tariffs starting on January 1st, that's months from now, that is after the midterm elections, does that buy time for these two countries to actually work out a plan before then?
It does seem to, and the thought, is that given all that time, there is this understanding of how important the auto industry is to both countries and how much of an effect putting those tariffs on Canadian autos would have on both countries and on the U.S. So potentially that is the thought. We never know what's in President Trump's head. But yes, we did observe certainly that there is quite a bit of time before that could take effect. But also anything can happen.
Melissa, that headline 50% tariff number sounds economically seismic, but the measures cover only about 5% of Canada's exports to the U.S., and that doesn't even count some of the strategically important products like energy, critical minerals. How much damage is this likely to cause, and where will it be felt most sharply?
Yes, so let's just make sure we're talking about the 50% tariffs that came into effect on Saturday. And so, yes, that actually affects sort of a wide variety of Canadian goods, but not big sectors in and of themselves. So wigs are among them, hockey sticks, plywood. And so it's a very interesting list. And that makes it very difficult to kind of it's not a huge number in and of itself. The one estimate from a University of Calgary professor is that it will be about 90,000 jobs that would be affected, which is 0.4% of the working population. And so that would only be if the tariffs were to continue for quite some time. So. But it's a lot of small businesses. It's very hard to help those small businesses because, you don't necessarily know who they are. And some of the supports that have been out there have really been aimed at large sectors like autos, like steel and aluminum. Mm-hmm.
Well, talk to me a bit about the political support for Carney. I mean, is it something that you think is durable, especially when we start to see economic costs rise?
It's a great question. And just to sort of bring it back a little bit, as soon as the threat of tariffs against Canada came into effect early last year, and as well the commentary about Trump annexing Canada, making it the 51st state, that's when Canadians really started to listen and started to, boycott products, limit or eliminate travel to the U.S. whenever possible. So this movement that Canadians have been doing has been happening for more than a year now, about a year and a half. And that has waxed and waned, of course, as also the talks have waxed and waned. As of now, there was a flash poll done over the weekend that found about 3 in 4 Canadians support the direction that Prime Minister Mark Carney is going in. But to your point, if the economic pain continues for quite some time. The cost of living is expensive here as it is in the U.S. And at some point, it is sort of important to look at the pocketbook effect. And it can be sometimes more expensive to buy local or to spend money within Canada. And so it just really will depend in terms of the reaction, how long this pain goes on.
We should note, too, Prime Minister Mark Carney did serve as the chairman of the board of directors for Bloomberg LP starting in August of 2023. He left that position when he ran for prime minister. I just want to point to, in the last minute that we have, a post on social media that the president posted earlier today. He said, Canada's been ripping off the United States of America for years. Their ridiculously high tariffs on our farmers and farm products has made life impossible for these great American patriots and has long created a $60 billion deficit between our two countries. I'm not going to have you fact check this one, but for people who are having trouble keeping up with what this is about this? Is it about wildfire smoke? Like, what are the issues here?
Great question. I think a lot of the negotiators might be asking themselves the same question. Yes, there's a lot of long-standing irritants between Canada and the U.S., it seems, despite the fact that we do have a free trade agreement that Trump signed in 2020 himself in his previous term. You mentioned dairy, you mentioned wildfire smoke. There's also some issues that came up at the last minute in the negotiations regarding trucks and whether they would be tariff exempt. As Prime Minister Carney mentioned, the U.S. seemingly wants to remove autos and steel and aluminum as areas in which Canada can thrive. So it just seems that there are various issues that have come to light, French language requirements. So, which is the most important one, we're not really sure.